Good afternoon. To begin with, I'd like to thank all of you for watching my channel each week. And as you know, I try to provide up-to-date information that's useful to all of us in our daily lives. And I published yesterday a report on COVID-19 vaccines and how safe they were and the rarity of any thrombotic complications. No sooner had I done that than I saw a new report come out linking the Pfizer vaccine to a case of thrombosis in a woman from Italy. And I felt obligated to present these data to you since that represents the latest up-to-date information. And I wanted you to hear it from me instead of any kind of news reports and so forth. So anyway, this is a story, as I said, that comes from Italy, and it just occurred. And it involves a 66-year-old woman who received the first dose of the Pfizer vaccine subcutaneously on the 4th of January without any post-injection problems. The second dose was received 3 weeks later, and 24 hours after the injection, she experienced fever with chills, fatigue, malaise, and muscle pain. 1 day later, persistent fever was still present, and acute right leg pain appeared in the absence of trauma. She was seen in the emergency room 24 hours later with persistent pain and inability to walk. Physical examination was unremarkable except for mild edema in the right calf. She had no past history of thrombosis, but were not specifically told about any family history of thrombosis or stroke, positive or negative. The BMI was 23, and otherwise her past medical history was negative, except for neuropathy in the left leg following a past trauma, which was not detailed in the report. We are also not told about her obstetrical history. Duplex scan revealed a right leg clot, now not in the left leg that was injured, but now in the other leg, in the right leg, involving the perineal vein and extending to the mouth of the popliteal vein. Laboratory testing revealed a heterozygous factor V Leiden defect. Again, no comment was made about family history, including any siblings, whether anybody else had been diagnosed with this abnormality and so forth. Also, the D-dimer was normal, which I find odd because usually the D-dimer in acute thrombosis is elevated. But we have no details from the Italians as to the method of testing, whether the standard method was used, whether the age-adjusted method was used, and so forth. She was successfully treated with a direct oral anticoagulant, but no follow-up details are available. The authors state to their knowledge this is the first reported case of DVT presenting as an adverse event post-SARS-CoV-2 vaccination with the Pfizer vaccine. They report no other thrombotic events were seen with this vaccine that to that point had been received by 21,720 individuals. They conclude that it is possible that the acute inflammatory response did trigger a thrombosis in this individual. We have no information regarding the post-traumatic left leg injury, however, and how that might have played into this overall clinical scenario. Now, coming back to the basics, the two United States approved vaccines are Pfizer and Moderna, with Johnson & Johnson almost ready to be approved. Both of these vaccines currently approved are messenger RNA vaccines. Johnson & Johnson will be an adenoviral DNA. All three work to tell your body to grow immunity against COVID-19. None of the vaccines contain the virus, and therefore none will give you COVID-19. To date, March 27th, 136 million doses are given in the United States. Over 89 people have gotten at least one dose, and more than 48 million people in America are fully vaccinated. This represents about 15% of the total population and represents about 1 in every 5 adults. This slide was part of a brilliant presentation given by Dr. Patel, and there is a link on my YouTube channel to be able to look at this entire presentation. It's a very, very good presentation. So why then, after more than 1 million doses of the Pfizer vaccine, did this occur? Well, we know that this process, this COVID-19, is a very complex pathophysiologic derangement, including both clotting problems, inflammation involving the inflammatory systems, and also the antigen antibody systems. And a result of this, a whole host of abnormalities can occur, from thrombosis to bleeding, fibrinolysis, breaking up the clots, increased vascular permeability, vasodilatation, bradycardia, angioedema, histamine and serotonin release, and hypertension. It's a very complex disease. Now, we know that the inflammatory state induced by the vaccine can theoretically result in a thrombotic complication. The mechanisms associated with infections of many types and thrombosis are well known and have been reported in the past. Infection and thrombosis have a synergistic relationship, and an exaggerated response in a susceptible patient may be the explanation for this event. The rarity of the complication, given more than 1 million doses administered in the US without it, indicate that a perfect storm of clinical events may be necessary to precipitate a thrombotic event. This is a very preliminary report missing many clinical details, and until further data become available to establish an association between the approved vaccines and thrombosis, any firm conclusions are premature. We need to remain vigilant as we gain more clinical experiences with both the disease and the vaccines. Why have we seen the vaccine-induced prothrombotic immune thrombocytopenia that I reported previously only following the AstraZeneca vaccination? So in conclusion, COVID-19 represents a complex infection involving multiple systems, including clotting, inflammatory, and immunologic pathways. Vaccination is imperative to limit the spread of the disease and protect against severe infections and death. The vaccines are safe, and adverse reactions remain very rare. The reports of VTIP are extremely rare and have only been reported using the AstraZeneca vaccine, not the Pfizer or Moderna. This new report regarding the Pfizer vaccine complication, while very, very mild compared to VTIP from Italy, is important, but we need further data. So I would recommend that all of you stay tuned for further information regarding this. And again, thank you for being loyal visitors to this channel, and have a great day.